I just read this New Yorker article and it's so fascinating. I wanted to share. It's about sustainable remote work. So how to do it successfully. Uh, so remote work isn't actually that new, even though the pandemic accelerated it. And so when it was first being developed at Best Buy, they had some interesting learnings. So I mean, the title of the article, companies must move away from surveillance, so watching people, and visible busyness, and towards defined outcomes and trust. Very interesting. So what many teams have learned during the pandemic is people actually love the independence. They like the autonomy of remote work. They don't want to be visibly busy. They just want to focus on the work. So when Best Buy tried to allow people to work remotely, what they learned was internally they had some serious weaknesses. Okay, so when they were uh, figuring out what work to do, the commitment was very weak. It was very ambiguous, which meant there was very low accountability. And so it only worked when a manager was over your shoulder. It didn't work in a remote environment. So they developed new ways to work remotely. Here's how they did it. Uh, I love the term results only work environment. Results only work environment. So they formalized how you get results. They had they changed how commitment worked. So a manager and their contributor, their team member, they would negotiate. They would figure out exactly what the plan was, what the communication plan was, what the work plan was. So like, you'll touch base with me on Tuesday. You'll whatever, and it was written down. So there was a clear commitment, and then the manager uh, managed the team by managing the commitments. Okay, so it's not swinging by Teddy's desk. It is Teddy has particular deliverables, and how's he doing against those? And this all went towards results, and they actually had quite good outcomes for quite a while. In other teams who've done this, again, fantastic results. So you focus on the commitment and the accountability and the results rather than the kabuki of showing that you're busy. Now, there's a risk here, and the article highlights it. At Best Buy, they had a couple issues. First, they decided to signal to the market that they were going to get tough. And part of that getting tough, which was a very political signaling, was they were going to bring some people back into the office. So rather than focusing on the results, they made a political decision. And when they brought in some new managers over time, those managers were not committed to this results only work environment. They liked the more traditional ways of doing things. So because they had weak commitment and they weren't held accountable to maintaining this, and because they weren't working on results, it fell apart at Best Buy. But other organizations that really did commit from this top to bottom, it's got to start at the top, but top to bottom, uh, fantastic results. So I guess the takeaway here is if you want to do remote work, you really need to get good at commitment and accountability. You need to formalize that quite a lot, and it's got to come from the top. So it's all got to be reinforced. Otherwise, um, people will break the social contract, and they will undermine it. And for political reasons, people will go to the office rather than results reasons. Oh, my boss, he really likes to see my face, so I've got to go in. Very interesting. I suggest you read up on this. Cheers.